Now he'll try his hand at something entirely different and not doing too well early on as Turbo quickly makes short work of Dale Thompson.
Well, quickly is the right description, Mike. You can see here just one solid shot to the forehead followed by another, and that's the end of the story for Dale.
So now it's Rob Batishi's turn. Rob not quite as big as Dale, and it really doesn't matter against a guy like Turbo who goes about 6'3" and 260. Rob at about 5'10", 190. He'll have to rely on quickness and cunning to get the job done.
He'll have to be very quick and very smart, giving up that kind of weight and strength advantage to Turbo. Turbo hasn't been up there before, but shows that he's very adept at this new competition. Does very well. Fortunately, Rob didn't last quite as long as Dale did. Here's Mike.
Turbo, what's all this stuff about starting slow and then kicking in the afterburners? You polished off those two contenders in a total of 9 seconds.
Well, Mike, as you know, the longer Turbo runs, the stronger it gets. These guys are just lucky they didn't let me get warmed up.
Well, you made that pugil stick look like a piston rod in your hand, the way you're handling it. First time on this pedestal.
Yeah, and I'll be surprised if anybody ever gets me off it.
Well, you heard it. Turbo lays down the gauntlet.
Turbo gets off to a fast start as he holds the contenders scoreless after one event. And for our new gladiator, it's time to enjoy the cheers of the crowd and the celebration with fellow gladiators.
And Larry, we've only just begun here on the American Gladiators. Still to come is the wall and the game of assault. But up next, it's the women's turn to do hand-to-hand combat in the joust. Welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood for more of the American Gladiators. The women are now set for their first event, and getting the early assignment in the joust for the Gladiators is Blaze.
Yes, Marla Smith will face off with Blaze first. Marla, 24 years old, stands 5'6" and has some background in competitive bodybuilding and gymnastics, and she's going to need all of that now.
Blaze, of course, has proved herself adept at hand-to-hand combat with the pugil stick based on her previous experience on last year's show. Quickly, she goes up top for Marla's head, and that helmet gets her off balance. Good night. So early on here, the contenders having their problems.
Serious head problems right there as you watch Blaze deliver that first fierce blow to the head of Marla, then coming around with a sweeping left, knocking the stick from her hands, and then finally giving her a little love tap, Mike, right off the pedestal.
Proving, Larry, it never pays to mess with Blaze.
Stay low and hit hard, babe. Stay low and hit hard.
Nitro giving Blaze a little advice, not that she needs it. She dispatched of Marla Smith fairly quickly, and now she's going to try to do the same to Kelly Peacock.
Kelly Peacock, a heptathlete at UCLA, and Kelly stands all of 5'8" and weighs 133 pounds, Mike.
Kelly, one terrific athlete, finished second in the Pac-10 heptathlon meet in 1988 behind the winner, Wendy Brown, who was a competitor here last year, but Kelly in trouble early as Blaze again goes above the shoulder and for the head and finally knocks Kelly's pugil stick out of her hand.
Mike, you have to give Kelly credit here. She wades in, delivers a few blows. Blaze comes back viciously with some hits to the head, and then comes around with a roundhouse and knocks the pugil stick right from Kelly's hands.
Blaze, forget about your proficiency with the pugil stick. I think what the whole audience wants to know is how do you get those wonderful locks inside that helmet?
It's not hard. It's not hard. Just wrap them up and put them in.
In all seriousness, you're wielding that pugil stick fairly adeptly.
You know what, Mike, to be honest with you, to be defeated is just a state of mind, you know? You learn from your mistakes and you come back stronger. And that's what builds character, and that's what I like all of my Gladiator fans to realize.
There's no question about it. You have